Hey guys, so I'm going to talk about my stage 1 for phalloplasty. So I had anterior lateral thigh used as my donor site, so I had the ALT flap done, and I had this done by Dr. Crane and Dr. Santucci in Austin, Texas. So for the stage 1, because I had the ALT as a donor site, my stage 1 was actually they essentially, in my upper thigh, they kind of stitched, my incision lines looked like a long rectangle minus one of these sides. It was kind of like an open rectangle. I had an incision above my knee and two parallel running upwards towards my groin, and then where the groin was where the open side of the rectangle was. So essentially what this was to do was from what I understand, I think they sever the blood vessel and they stop it from going up. They stop the blood flow from going up tiny blood vessels, so it forces it up the main artery that is in the thigh, and this causes it to grow 6 to 8 times larger, making it more sufficient for stage 2, which is when they actually create your phallus from this donor site. This doesn't need to be done for the radial forearm because your blood flow is sufficient enough as is. Another thing with ALT, at least being done with Dr. Crane and Dr. Santucci, is for glandsplasty. This is the shaping of the head. This can't be done all in one stage because ALT, they really want to just focus on having your phallus take. So you're not getting your glandsplasty done in that setting. So honestly, yeah, okay. I just get really uncomfortable. I also had a vaginectomy done as well with this stage. So this vaginectomy and these 3 large incisions were my stage 1. It really was okay of a recovery. Everything was great. Nothing alarming. But then stuff went south. So I was staying at a post-op facility, and it was a little facility. There were, I think, like 5 patients max, and there were a lot of problems. I'm not going to say any names. We're not going to get into it too much, but basically what happened was a lot of errors were made, and I'm okay with mistakes. That happens. But this was kind of like just unacceptable. There was a patient who had my first name as his middle name, and they mistaken us, and we realized this after our medications were given. So he took my meds, I took his meds, and a lot of just mistakes like that. The worst part was, though, I was really constipated, as I usually am after surgeries. It's just something that happens. And they suggested taking milk of magnesia. So one of the nurses, and this is new to me, so it didn't even, a nurse is giving me something and I just assume, okay. So she gave me a glass of milk of magnesia. And she measured out 8 ounces of milk of magnesia. And for those of you who don't know, I think a tablespoon is a normal dosage. And she gave me the glass and told me to take it like a shot. So I downed this milk of magnesia, 8 ounces of it. And 10 minutes later, I felt my heart rate slow down. My whole body went into convulsions. I started foaming at the mouth. It was pretty bad, and as soon as I was kind of in the living room of this facility, and as soon as I stopped, the nurse working brought me to my room and left me, and I wasn't really quite coherent. Like, it really made me quite loopy, and I think about 4 to 6 hours later, I was able to be more cognitively aware, and I googled milk of magnesia, read the dosage, noticed a discrepancy in what I was given, and notified a nurse letting them know that, I've been overdosed. And I said, oh, okay, like, if there's anything we can do to make you more comfortable, let us know. So I just assumed that, okay, this can't be that bad. Went back to my room where I was left unmonitored. Around the 11-hour mark, another patient came in to check on me and found me unconscious on my back, vomiting. So I'm pretty sure if that patient hadn't checked in on me, yeah, it was really scary. Long story short, it ended up being a 5-night hospitalization stay to get over this. And it took about a month to have normal bowel movements again. Like, it wasn't like, haha, you overdosed on laxatives. It was like, I think I almost died. So I'm gonna keep this short and just keep that as my stage 1. There was a slight complication where I had a physical assault, which unfortunately I received trauma to my surgical site, and it wasn't a hematoma, but it was like, what's it called? My entire thigh turned into a waterbed. If you touched one spot, it would just jiggle and ripple throughout the entire thigh. I was really scared about this causing damage to, my surgical site. And for what does this mean for stage 2? It kind of went away on its own after a long time with a lot of compression and yeah. So all in all, I have to say, like, the surgical team was absolutely phenomenal. Stage 2 is where it gets more interesting. I'll make a video on that. Cheers, guys.